only thing that I see that is distinctly different about you and me is I am not afraid to die on a treadmill. I will not be outworked, period. You might have more talent than me, you might be smarter than me, you might be sexier than me, you might be all of these things and more. But if we get on a treadmill together, there's two things that are going to happen. You're going to get off first, or I'm going to die. It's really that simple, right? You're not going to outwork me. It's a simple, basic concept. The guy who is willing to hustle the most is going to be the guy that gets the loose ball. The majority of people who aren't getting the places they want or aren't achieving the things they want in business is strictly based on hustle. It's strictly based on being outworked. It's strictly based on missing crucial opportunities. I say this all the time. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. That was a Will Smith. I love it. Like, I love it. I want to print it out. I love it. It's so true. So if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. So, recruiting. If you stay on your A game all the time, you never have to refigure it out, right? If you consistently build your skill around recruiting, you never have to start over. If you are consistently staying on the game and you have a pipeline and you have a lead list and you have people that you're constantly working with, you never got to start over. I loved this. When I read this, Christy posted it, I loved it. So it's so incredibly true. So stay ready. I want to help you guys get ready. That's what I'm trying to do, is get ready so that you never have to get ready ever again. You're just there. You're just in that success zone, that realm of hustle. Really, I hate treadmills. Just going to throw that out there. But in the game of life, I'm obviously going to hustle because I got big goals. How does this relate to overcoming objections? So I want to teach you guys, and I am not the master end all be all. There's so much out there that we can learn, and there's so many amazing people that are great at overcoming objections. Like when it comes to sales gurus, I'm not the end all be all, but I want to give you guys some pointers and some places to start when overcoming objections. Yes, the treadmill. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. How have I never heard that? So true. The treadmill. So typically there's a lot of objections we get about the opportunity and around recruiting. And they're usually the same ones. So we have, I'm too busy. I don't know anyone. I don't have money, or finances aren't together, or I don't have the money to start. Something that revolves around money. I need to talk to my spouse. Or, I don't know, I need to think about it. Do you guys get those? Give me the little amen hand, woo, yeah, I get those. I've gotten those before. I've literally gotten all of those. I get all of those from one person sometimes, and sometimes I get one or two of those objections from every single person that I talk to about the opportunity. I even gave those objections. I told Jenna, no, I just started a new job. I don't really, I think I gave this a lame excuse if I do it, I want to give my 100% or I don't want to do it at all. I wish I would have started sooner. Snooze, you lose, I guess. So these are roadblocks, right? These are objections that we need to overcome. Some of them are true, and we need to love the people and our potentials where they're at. And some are the poop emoji. Yes, the poop emoji. Some are just like a cover-up, like a false white lie, just to get you away, to get you off their back, because maybe they're scared of something. So there's going to be two scenarios. These roadblocks or objections are going to be somewhat true, and you got to kind of love them where they're at, and then follow up with them and follow up with them and follow up with them if they're truly interested, and it's just like this weird scenario. Or they're the poop emoji. How do we figure out the difference? Like, how do we figure out if it's a real objection and we need to love them where they are, or if it's kind of a light white lie, BS-y, just roadblock or objection that they're giving you? Well, we ask questions because questions are going to tell you whether or not there's like a stall and they're just trying to figure out what else to make up to tell you. You know, they don't want to hurt your feelings, so they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to join on the 5th. And then it's the 5th, and you're like, okay, I'm so excited for you to join. And they're like, I ignore your messages forever. That's bad. You don't want that either. So there's a couple of things when overcoming the too busy, the I don't know anyone, the no money, I got to talk to my spouse, I got to think about it. Sometimes they throw in a now is not the right time. So when it comes to too busy and not enough money, those are usually objections that maybe aren't always the real thing. Or like we talked about in another video, they don't see the value in joining. Like, why am I going to trade you my time that I can never get back for this opportunity that I don't know if I'm going to get anything from? So you have to overcome that. You also have to overcome the, okay, well, why am I going to not pay my insert bill here or insert fun thing here because I need to join this opportunity? Again, I don't know what I'm going to get from it. So you can overcome those two objections to see if they are like legitimate and you need to love them where they are and follow up with them, or you can see if they're legitimate. So here's how I would do that. So if someone said, you know what, I just don't have the money. I'm like, okay, I totally understand that. Like, I've been there, paycheck to paycheck. It sucks, right? Is that where you're at, paycheck to paycheck? Yeah, I just don't have the extra money. Okay, I totally get that. So you are giving an understanding feedback to the person. You're telling them you've been there. Most of us have been there, right? At some point in life, you haven't had enough money for something. Like, you've been there. That's not a lie. Maybe you didn't have the money to start, and it's like you can relate to them. So give that to them. Yeah, I totally understand. So tell me, can I ask you something? Sure. How's life going to be any different if you don't take a risk? It's kind of ballsy, right? So you can go that route and see if they'll answer, depending on the relationship that you have, depending on how long you've been talking to them. Another route you can go is you say, okay, yeah, I totally understand. And you say, okay, can I ask you something? If you had the $99 plus tax and shipping, you had the $120 US, whatever the amount is. If you had the money today, would you join today? What would stop you? Well, they're probably going to give you another reason. So that second reason may or may not be the real reason also. So you kind of come at it the same. Oh, okay, yeah, I totally hear you. Like, you're so busy, you're running your kids from here to there and wherever. You don't have the time, whatever their objection they give to you. Come at it the same. Okay, yeah, I totally understand. So let's say you had all the time in the world. So you have all the money in the world to join, you have all the time in the world. What would stop you from doing this opportunity? If they can come up with a third one, that one may or may not, again, be the actual legitimate objection. But at least you're digging down to see their thought process so that when they do have the money, you can now say, oh, great, you have the money. You got your tax return. Now you already know what their next objection is going to be to you. It's going to be time. So you can already say, you know what? You mentioned time was a factor before. Well, can I tell you that I have a ton of moms on my team? They do their work in the carpool line. They do their work at karate class. They do their work when they put their kids to bed. And you know what? They are changing the quality of life for their family. How would that make you feel if you could bring in an extra $500 every single month? So you try to bring in the emotion into it. Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. It would alleviate so much this and that and the other. So overcoming objections is all about just asking questions and really being that like Sherlock Holmes of the Jamberry world and trying to figure out what is the real issue. What is really holding them back? Because in a lot of cases, I feel like it's fear of the unknown. They don't see the value, right? We've talked about that in other videos before. So it's figuring out how you can take the emotion behind maybe changing the quality of their life in some capacity with the objection that they're giving you. Does this make sense so far? Does this help hearing the words or like a conversation? And this can happen over Facebook Messenger. This can happen, face to face. This can happen verbally. But I was telling Erin yesterday, because she had a scenario where someone said, I just don't have the money. And I always say to that, girlfriend, then it sounds like you need to join. Sounds like you need this opportunity more than you think you do. Wouldn't it be amazing to never have to say no to something you want to do? And then you do the long, awkward pause. Because when it comes down to it, the thing that you want to say is usually the thing you should say. Because if not, they're going to give you this BS answer like, oh, I just don't have the money right now, but when I have the money, I'm going to join your team. And you're over here doing like the happy dance like, yeah, she's going to join my team when she has the money. Well, that day never is going to come. Because every time you ask her, she's never going to have the money. Or you're going to see her on Buy Sell Trade Group trying to buy some things. Or you're going to see a picture of her car on Facebook that she just purchased that you're like, I thought you couldn't afford to pay $99 to start this opportunity, but you just bought a new car? Okay. So that was obviously not the reason. It's totally happened to me. Pretty sure it's happened to you guys too. Like, I know that you've seen that. I know it. Where I'm like, oh, no, she didn't. Did she just really tell me she couldn't join because she didn't have money? And then she's like, walking around in these new shoes that I know cost more than $120. It's value. People will do whatever it takes when they want something and see that it's important. People will work their business if they see that it's important, right? Those two things. Money we really covered. Time is one of those things where ask them. When they say, oh, I don't have the time. Great, what kind of time do you have? Tell me what your day looks like. Let me give you kind of a lowdown on what I do and how much money I make with the time that I use. Maybe I can't relate to someone because I don't have kids. Well, I'm going to bring in a story from someone else on the team or from someone else that I know in Jamberry, like their story. Like, I'd give a Mandy story where I'd be like, my friend, she works full time. She has a 3-year-old. And she only works her business when she doesn't have her daughter or her daughter's in bed. And she still kills it. And she's still an amazing leader. So what does your day look like? How does it compare to that? That is the time factor. You want to ask more questions. If people say that this opportunity is too expensive, you say compared to what? Okay, that's like the best one. Oh, you mentioned that this is really expensive. I totally get that. $120, with everything is pretty expensive. You do get more than $120 in value in what's in your kit. But can I ask you a question? What is it expensive compared to? And then kind of wait. And if they're like, oh, well, it's expensive, I only spend this much on whatever, or, that's how much I make in a week. Okay, girlfriend, then you need to join because you could be making that every single week with Jamberry. That would be doubling your household income or doubling your income. Why wouldn't that be, a good change for you? Or tell me how that wouldn't be a good change for you. So ask more questions. And it's okay to ask the tough questions as long as you ask permission. Do you mind if I ask you something? Because I'm really curious. what in the past have you spent $120 on? Oh, this, that, the other. Great. Did any of those things bring you income? Well, no. You want to be like, hello? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes, depending on the person, you can. If you kind of bring a sense of humor into things, you can. But really, I ask a lot. Like, if you don't do this, how will your quality of life change? If you just told me you are living paycheck to paycheck, how's that going to change if you don't make a change? Are you good with it? Are you good with living paycheck to paycheck? Because if you are, that's fantastic, and I will completely love you where you are. I'll still be your friend. You can join my VIP group. You can buy Jamberry when you can afford it. But girlfriend, let me tell you how you can buy Jamberry and get it for free by selling it. And bring in $100 and be able to pay your cell phone bill and help change your quality of life for your family. I mean, these are all conversations that you can have with people. So, we talked a little bit about time. We talked a little bit about money. And that I don't know anyone. Super easy objection to cover. Oh my gosh. You know what? I thought that same exact thing when I joined. But you know what I found out? I knew a lot more people than I thought I knew. And they're like, really? Yeah. When I thought I didn't know anyone, it's because I was thinking about, like, who are my best friends? Who do I spend time talking to every single day? What family do I spend time talking to all the time? What family do I spend at holidays? Like, I was thinking about all of these people that were super close to me. What I didn't think about were all the people that I know that I'm still connected to. That I know from work, that I know from past work, that I know from high school, that I know from activities. Those acquaintances that you don't really think about every single day. Those people, you know. And did you know, on average, people know like 200 people? And those people know like 200 people. So if one person can introduce you to their 200 people, you're going to know a lot of people. Some people will also use, I'm not a salesperson. And this is what I have been using when I hear that, because I hear that one a lot. So when someone says, I'm just not a salesperson, I say, oh my gosh, me neither. I totally am though. But I say, me neither. But can I ask you this? And they're like, sure. Right? Because they don't think you're going to like lay the hammer down and sell them on the fact that they are a salesperson. So they say, sure. And you say, okay, has there ever been a time in life where you had to get and convince your kids that those chicken nuggets or that piece of pizza or those broccoli or any food was good and they needed to eat it? That's like the mom conversation, right? And they're like, well, yeah, every day. I'm like, girlfriend, then you are a salesperson. Or I'm like, have you ever tried to convince your husband to not watch Street Outlaws because you really want to watch the Kardashians and you tell him all the reasons why? And they're like, yeah, girlfriend, then you are a salesperson. And if I know them, I might even throw in those nights when your husband's like, hey, you're looking good. And you're like, no, tonight is not a good night. Let me tell you why. I'm tired. I've been working all day. You didn't say thank you when I put away the dishes. You just sold him on why tonight is not a good night, if you know what I'm saying. So these are all, people are salespeople. If you are not selling, you are being sold to. And most of us, especially as women, are salespeople. We are going to give you our opinion. We're going to tell you why it's right. And we usually are right? Like, at least that's what we like to believe. So those people are salespeople. So I give them example. I ask them those questions. Again, it comes back to questions. You can just say, have you ever done this? sounds like you're a great salesperson. If they're a fabulous hostess, they're a great salesperson. Because if their friends are buying from them, their friends like, know, and trust them, which is what you need as a salesperson, and they at some point convince their friends that they love this product. So if they're a great hostess and they give you that excuse, tell them they're full of it and they need to join your team to get some confidence, because they are a good salesperson and you want to help them find that confidence. We covered the I don't know anyone, covered too busy, no money. I got to talk to my spouse. Oh, I totally understand that. Like in my household, we totally make decisions together. Usually not $99 ones, usually like expensive ones, like, you know, $1,000 or whatever. But every household is different. I don't obviously say that part. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so they have to talk to their spouse. So maybe their spouse controls the money. Maybe they don't bring in an income, so they have to ask to be able to use money. So in my mind, I'm thinking all of these things as they're telling me, well, I need to talk to my spouse. Like, okay, I totally understand that. It's so awesome. Can I commend you that you have like a really great relationship with your spouse, that you guys communicate over financial decisions? That's awesome. So I want to ask you, what do you think they're going to want to know? What questions do you think that they're going to want to ask? Because right off the bat, if you ask that question and they tell you, well, they're going to be concerned about money, they're going to be concerned about time, you're going to address it the same way. Because most likely they don't actually have to talk to their spouse. They're just concerned because you haven't sold them yet. So whatever objection they give you that their spouse might have, you need to go back and address the value behind that objection, because probably there's something that you haven't addressed with them yet to where they really see the value in joining. Because why would they ever talk to their spouse if they don't believe in the value of this opportunity? I mean, I talked to Brandon before I joined, but it was more of a conversation of, I think this is really cool. I kind of want to do it. And he was like, yeah, do it. There's nothing else like it. You know, and you don't know if this person has tried direct sales before. Maybe they've had a bad experience. Maybe they talked their husband into a similar opportunity before and they didn't follow through. They didn't have the support. Like whatever, you don't know the background story. So you got to ask. You know, what do you think he would be concerned about? What questions do you think that they're going to have? Really just asking, hey, I just want to know so that when you go to him or her or whoever, your spouse, and you ask them and say, I really want to do this opportunity, what's that conversation going to sound like? I want to make sure that if you really want to do this, that you're armed with everything that you need to be able to have that conversation with them. They have an open conversation with you, like, oh, you know, he's probably going to ask this, and he's probably going to ask this, and he's probably going to ask this, and you give them all that information. I would still ask, great, so now that you have all that information, how's that conversation going to look? Because I want to make sure that I have given you everything and that you can explain everything, you know, to the best of your ability so that he understands. You'll know if that's just a lame excuse or if they really genuinely have that kind of relationship with their spouse that they need to have that conversation. The other one is, you know, I just really need to think about it. Which is like code word for get the hell out of here because I don't want to do this opportunity and you have not sold me on the value of it at all. So what I used to do in life was I'd be like, okay. And then I'd be like, I don't want to follow up with her. I'm scared. Because I don't think she really wants to do it. What am I going to say? Well, if you have a gut feeling that she doesn't want to do it, ask her. Because it's going to save you a lot of time and hassle in the long run. And then you can just love her where she's at and maybe she'll be your customer, maybe she'll be your friend, whatever. But ask. Say, you know, I totally understand that. even though this is low risk, it is still a decision, you know, for your family and your time and your quality of life and all of those things. So I completely understand. You know, at first I thought you were, you know, just saying you want to think about it because maybe you know, don't want to hurt my feelings. You don't want to let me down. You don't want to say no. I just want to let you know it's okay if you don't want to do this. You're not going to hurt my feelings. We can still be friends. You can still be my VIP. I'll still take your money. You can still buy from me. And they kind of laugh. And I'm like, no, seriously, I'll still take your money. And they'll laugh. And they'll say two things to you. No, I really want to do this. I just need to think about it because of X, Y, and Z. Or they'll say, oh, okay, you know, it's just really not for me. And you're like, hallelujah. Move on, right? Be my customer, be my friend. I'll love you where you're at. But let me go give my recruiting attention to somebody else. Because they'll really only give you two responses, right? Like, oh, no, I really want to do this. Or they'll be like, well, I don't really want to do this. So it's also okay throughout the objection process and trying to overcome them to let them know, you know what, girl? Know that I'm coming from a great place and I really want the best for you if you think this is going to be the best for you. Please know if it's not and you think that, you know, this isn't a product for you, opportunity for you, whatever. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I love what I do. I'm going to continue to do what I do and I'll still love you where you're at. If you tell people that, they'll be like, this chick is so genuine. I'm going to join her team right now. Or they'll be like, oh, okay, I really appreciate that. And then they might come back to you and say, you know, it's just really not for me. If people give me a way out, it makes me feel so much better about not being like pushed into doing something I don't want to do. And it also gives me that feeling of, okay, they don't need me. They genuinely want me to be successful, which we talked about in another video too. Because when it comes down to it, I don't always tell people this because there's a time and a place. But I feel like if some people are being like, giving me weird vibe or weird pushback, I just say, you know, I just want to let you know, as a leader, I don't get anything for you signing up. I make money when people want to work their business and be successful. And if this isn't for you, that's okay. Save your $99 and buy a gel kit. Whatever it is that they're wanting to do. But I hope that you find it, you know, a compliment that I would at least ask and go down that route because I think you would be really great at this. But if you don't want to do it, that's okay. Because in the end, it saves you a lot of like hardship from the person who can't say no to you, signs up, joins your team, and you're like, this is my next team manager. This is my next lead consultant right here. She joined today. And they're like, I just paid $99 because I couldn't tell you no. I'm never going to answer your calls ever again. Take me off your email list. And you're like, oh, well, shoot. I thought you were, you know, like wanted to do the business. So it saves you some emotional, you know, grief, strife. Saves you from emotional strife in the long run. So does this all make sense? Do you guys have questions? Let me see what exactly I said to Erin last night. She said, I have a customer have someone who I followed up with who, like, this is like a real legit, like, what Amanda says. She said, you know, I want to join, but I can't afford it or whatever. So I said exactly that. Wouldn't it be amazing to say yes to more things in life and change the quality of your life? You know, how is life going to change if you don't join? Maybe not even Jamboree, just if you don't take part in something. So then, yeah, if money's not the issue, what's stopping you from joining today? On a scale of 1 to 10, take money out of the equation. Where are you at? 1 being, heck no, I never want to do this, and 10 being, sign me up right now. They're going to be like, well, if money wasn't an issue, I'd be a 9. I'm like, okay, great. You got 2 options. Sell a bunch of stuff in your house that you don't want, that you don't use, that someone else could benefit from. How can you come up with $99? Stop smoking, stop drinking coffee for a month, whatever it is. How can you come up with that money? Or 2, have a party with me, be a rockin' hostess, and let's earn you a kit credit. You can give them those options. Simple. I mean, you know, they may not join. But at least you got out what you wanted to say, and you're like, oh, I feel so good. Got a full conversation. I know I left no stone unturned. I know that they really made a great informed decision about, staying where they're at. Maybe they're going to sit on a fence. Maybe they'll never jump off the fence. We talked about that in another video too. Get more fence sitters. Get more people interested, and you'll never be stressed out about the ones that, aren't ready to jump into the opportunity right away. And that's okay, because this isn't for everyone. But it's for someone. And there's people out there that want this opportunity, that need this opportunity, as long as you have that belief. Something else about the money conversation is you can have, I still like to have the conversation about the kit credit. However, I also like to say in that scenario, you can figure out how to come up with the $99. Or you can have a party with me and earn a credit. But let me stop you for a minute before you tell me which one you want to do. Because I will tell you that if you figure out a way to get the $99, you're going to make more money from your friends in your launch party than you would if you give me your friends and I make commission off of them. So I kind of like to break it down, because if someone's going to earn a kit credit, they're only going to earn a $25 or $50 off kit credit. But if they earn commission off of that same amount of sales in a party, they're going to earn almost double the amount of commission. And if that doesn't make sense to you, let me know. I'll break it down in the comments. But I like to be able to explain that to them. That way they can see the value of, okay, well, I am going to hustle my pants off, and I'm going to figure out how to come up with that $99. So, and then they'll have their customer base. They'll have their friends still. They'll be able to turn their friends into their VIPs. They'll be able to get parties from their friends. And they'll be able to earn commission off their friends, and then be able to service them like straight from the beginning. So obviously I am passionate about that route, and I think that that's the best way to do it. But there is that kit credit available. And I think that overcoming objections is really scary for people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. If you can come up with a question, you can continue to overcome their objection. And if you come at it from a place of, I really want to figure out what is stopping you, because if this can truly change your life, I want to figure out how to get you there, then it's going to be received well. If you come at it from snarky, like, well, good luck changing the quality of your life, and, well, have fun living a paycheck to paycheck, see ya, Felicia. Obviously, that's not very nice. And obviously, they're going to be like, I hate this Jamberry girl, I'm never going to talk to her ever again. So you don't want to come at it from that perspective either. But yeah, as long as you, just like with anything, belief, our vision, our goals, talking to people, if you come at it from a good place, it will be received well. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.